Socrates walks into a room of admirers crowded around the most famous rhetorician in Greece. He leans toward his student Chaerephon and whispers 4 words. Ask him who he is. It sounds like a polite introduction. It is the first move in a trap. Within minutes, the master of persuasion will confess in his own voice that he does not know what he is talking about and never did. Why this question? And why have Chaerephon ask it? Because dialectic, the art of question and answer that hunts for truth, begins not with speaking but with learning what to ask, and of whom. To ask a teacher of persuasion who he is to ask whether he is a coherent self at all. The Delphic oracle commanded, "Know thyself." Socrates is testing whether Gorgias can answer that command in a single sentence. Identity in Plato is not a label, it is constructed in language, and you are responsible for the self you speak. Chaerephon asks, but before Gorgias can open his mouth, his star pupil Polus intercepts, and Polus does not answer the question. He delivers a speech of praise, an aria of compliments, drowning the simple query in eloquence. This is the tell. Gorgias' school does not train students to think, it trains them to perform. They invert the Delphic command. Instead of knowing themselves, they learn to make others feel things. A question gets a question's answer. A performance is something else entirely. It is the difference between a conversation and a sales pitch. Now the real match begins. Socrates steps forward. Gorgias steps forward. Polus is waved aside, and Socrates poses the question, the one that will decide everything. What exactly do you teach? By what method? And toward what end? 3 questions in one. The what names the craft. The how names the technique. The to what end names the purpose, the goal the whole activity is for. In Greek, that final word is telos. Without a telos, a craft is just motion, cutting without healing, talking without aim. Socrates is asking for the telos of rhetoric. Gorgias answers confidently. He teaches persuasion, the art of moving people through speech. And not persuasion about small matters, persuasion about the greatest matters, law, war, justice, the fate of cities. Notice what he does not say. He does not say he teaches the truth about these things. He does not claim to know what justice is or when war is right. He claims only the power to make others believe whatever he chooses. Persuasion, in his definition, floats free of truth. It is a technique that can argue any side, and to prove its power, he offers an example. His brother, the doctor. Picture the scene Gorgias describes, an age without anesthesia. A patient sick enough to need surgery but terrified of the knife. The doctor cannot persuade him. The patient refuses. The doctor sends for Gorgias. Gorgias walks in, speaks for a few minutes, and the patient climbs onto the table. Gorgias tells this story with pride. Look, he says, at what words can do. Where medicine fails, rhetoric succeeds. The doctor cures the body, but only after I move the soul. Socrates listens. And Socrates sees the opposite of what Gorgias sees. Slow down here. Walk through it carefully. Who knows whether the patient needs surgery? The doctor. Who decides what Gorgias should say? Gorgias asks the doctor. And if the doctor said the patient should refuse the surgery, what would Gorgias do? He would give the opposite speech, with equal eloquence and equal conviction. The example Gorgias offered to prove his supremacy has just exposed his subordination. Trace the chain. The doctor possesses knowledge of health, what the body needs to function. Gorgias possesses no such knowledge. He only knows how to make sentences land. The doctor tells Gorgias what outcome to aim for. Gorgias persuades the patient toward that outcome. The patient, ignorant and fearful, obeys. Rhetoric, in this picture, is not a master art. It is a delivery system. It carries someone else's knowledge across a gap of ignorance. Gorgias is, by his own confession, an ignorant man, persuading other ignorant men to do what a wise man knows they should do. The deeper point is teleological. Medicine is not just cutting and cauterizing and dosing. Those are techniques. the Greek word techne, meaning craft or skilled procedure. A true art requires more than technique. It requires knowing the telos, the end the technique is for. For medicine, that telos is health, what a human body is when it is functioning as it should. Without that knowledge, the surgeon is just a person with a knife. Politics has a telos too, justice, the good city. Rhetoric, by Gorgias' own admission, has no telos of its own. It will argue for whatever end someone else supplies. The doctor is not just an example. He is the master figure of Plato's whole project. Across the dialogues, the doctor returns again and again. Doctors of bodies who know health. Doctors of souls, the philosophers who know virtue. Doctors of states, the true politicians who know justice. Each one is a true craft because each one knows its end. Each one shows why technique alone is empty. A surgeon who does not know health is dangerous. A speaker who does not know justice is more dangerous still, because he can persuade an entire city to march off a cliff and sound noble doing it. Socrates is not destroying rhetoric, he is locating it. The wise need help persuading those who will not listen directly. Rhetoric is a servant of knowledge, not a sovereign. 25 centuries later, the question still cuts. Every age has its brilliant persuaders who do not know what they are selling people on. When you hear a beautiful speech, ask the one question Socrates asked. Whose knowledge is it serving? And does that someone know what they are doing?